Scientific Technical Committee, the rules change every session. Still on the subject of COVID, the government has declassified the minutes of the meetings of the Scientific Technical Committee. Our report.
Gaffe, second thoughts, proposals ended in nothing and obvious contradictions. It is the scenario that emerges by reading one by one the latest recently declassified minutes of the Scientific Technical Committee, the CTS. The task of the 11 experts is to provide the government with authoritative scientific opinions on the most disparate aspects of the coronavirus emergency. From the methods of administering vaccines to the rules for sitting at the restaurant, to the rules to be observed on the beach when sunbathing. Here is what the technicians led by coordinator Franco Locatelli of the Higher Health Council and spokesman Silvio Brusaferro of Higher Institute of Health said to each other between May and June. Let's start with the session of the 28th of May. They are all connected by videoconference. The meeting is important because the representatives of the regions are present. They need to discuss the guidelines for the resumption of economic and social activities. They discuss the theme of catering and ceremonies. Previously, the CTS had proposed to introduce physical separation barriers to enforce the distances between customers, provided that they do not represent an element in the disturbance of ventilation and do not lead to a reduction in air exchange. The regional delegates reject the proposal and point out how absurd the idea is. Physical barriers of separation necessarily involve a disturbance of the ventilation. The CTS experts can only recognize the validity of the objection. To save face, they suggest to issue the rule in any case, guaranteeing air changes in any case. At this point, the talk shifts to the use of masks in the restaurant. The CTS would like the nose and mouth protection device to be worn at all times, except at times of drinking and eating. Once again, the representatives of the regions are forced to object. It would not be reasonable to require customers to wear the devices in the breaks between the different courses or drinks. Government experts, of course, accepted the objection. Then they move on to the examination of the beaches and bathing establishments section. The CTS would like to define the maximum number of presences in relation to the available surface on the free beaches. New stop from the regions, precisely because they are free. It is not possible to control all the people who enter and leave. Objection once again accepted by the CTS, which, at least, has the merit of being able to realize how absurd some of its proposals are. The following days, due to the death of an 18-year-old girl from thrombosis after the administration of the vaccine, the AstraZeneca case explodes. Pressure is mounting on experts to definitively ban this type of serum under 60. The General Director of AIFA, the Medicines Regulatory Agency, Nicola Magrini, is present. The head of the drug agency explains that it is necessary to reinforce the position of a recommendable use of mRNA vaccines for people under the age of 60. The CTS welcomes the authoritative opinion. From here on, only Pfizer and Moderna will be given to under 60 age group. Therefore, vaccines that are not mRNA are excluded. A week later, the CTS completely reverses what has just been decided. Experts are called upon to assess the situation in prisons. The reasoning is as follows: since prisoners must be put as soon as possible in the conditions to access vaccination, it is possible to evaluate the use of the other vaccines. Finally, the most controversial case, in the session where there was the Minister of Transport Enrico Giovannini. Theme of the debate are the rules to be introduced on public transport. In the report is written, the adaptation of the hygienic conditions of the means of transport is an objective to be pursued independently of the COVID. On the other hand, the resumption of public transport contributes itself to public health objectives, limiting the environmental effects and adverse events due to accidents. In short, regardless of the pandemic, it is good to start getting on buses to pollute less and not to run into the adverse event of an accident.